Hi, I'm Tricia, and I'm from Real Life Church. I'm on staff as our greeter and usher teams, and I oversee our life groups.
I'm Pastor Sean. I'm the associate pastor at the church, and we welcome you here today. Thanks for watching.
Today's scripture depicts perfectly the great love that Jesus has for us, and we're going to bring it full circle. John 18:29-32 reads, "So Pilate went outside to them and said, 'What accusation do you bring against this man?' They answered him, 'If this man were not doing evil, we would not have delivered him over to you.' Pilate said to them, 'Take him yourselves and judge him by your own law.' The Jews said to him, 'It is not lawful for us to put anyone to death.' We know Jesus foretells of this death, and the next scripture states that it's his purpose. John 18:36-38, Jesus answered, 'My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have been fighting that I might not be delivered over to the Jews. But my kingdom is not from the world.' And then Pilate said to him, 'So you are a king?' Jesus answered, 'You say that I am a king. For this purpose I was born, and for this purpose I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice.' Pilate said to him, 'What is truth?' After he had said this, he went back outside to the Jews and told them, 'I find no guilt in him.'" At this point, they begin the process of what we know historically as the most gruesome death known to man. Many question how he even survived as long as he did, with hours of pain and suffering. I think we need to truly understand what Jesus went through to bear our sin. He was crowned with thorns, blood running down his face, cutting into him. He was then flogged, which is beaten with whips, which essentially pulls flesh from him. He was mocked and humiliated, stolen from, and treated as nothing. Not to mention the physical pain of carrying a cross after being tortured. The hands and feet nailed to the cross and taunted, essentially bled dry, completely dehydrated, and then given sour wine and pierced multiple times until he eventually drew his last breath. All for you and me. Even a few of those witnessed the realization of what Jesus chose to endure on our behalf. Luke 23:47 says, "Now when the centurion saw what had taken place, he praised God, saying, 'Certainly this man was innocent.'" John 19:28-30 says, "After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said, to fulfill the scripture, 'I thirst.' A jar full of sour wine stood there, so they put a sponge full of the sour wine on a hyssop branch and held it to his mouth. And when Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, 'It is finished,' and he bowed his head and gave up his spirit."
Wow. That's a pretty serious walkthrough. But it is finished. It is finished. Is it really? Maybe the plan of salvation has come to fulfillment. But there is no real ending to Jesus because he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The cross is just the place of an earthly end, but it's the start and the beginning of a spirit-filled life for all believers. What is meant to be brutal, God uses to finish his plan of hope and salvation for mankind. Jesus goes through this whole thing for this moment. In Matthew 27 it says, "And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and the rocks were split." This moment, this is the changing of the guard's moment. When no longer do we need a high priest to go before the throne for us, but Jesus rips open in that moment the barrier for us to be able to walk into the throne room of God. This is the moment of Good Friday. This is what that whole story is about. All of the pain, all of the anguish, all of the trial for this moment of the tearing of the curtain, so that access to heaven is granted for everyone who believes. There's no greater news. There's no greater Friday, but that Good Friday. Join us tonight for our Good Friday service at 7 p.m. at Real Life Church. And for Easter Sunday at 9:30 a.m., we would love to have you.